Hello, students. Today we are going to learn a new chapter 4 National Movements in India. Before we learned our 2 3 chapters regarding our discoveries of sea routes to India, who all came in various centuries, then again about World War One, World War Two, what were their effects, how were the treaties, colonization, Russian Revolution, all those things. After Second World War, how United Nations got established, its various organs, and all these things. Now, this chapter, and this national movements, this chapter is related with our Indian freedom. So, what all changes took right from 757 till 1857? So, within the period of this 100 years, a very big gap of overall a century, what all changes took place, and further how these movements got stronger and how they developed, and further about again a span of 100 years ago we got our freedom. So all about it, our this chapter tells us how at some places British government got suppressed due to various things, and also more and more Indian people contributed, tried, and went of their houses to attain freedom in anyhow they wanted. So here in the introduction part it says that for living over here, as they start coming from route about in 1600, that East India Company was established in the year 1600 BC, sorry, AD. So right from that time till 1757, these people got familiar with all the political, economic, and social conditions of Indian people by living in India. Now again, this East India Company was a very major reason, making their big imprint in the in our Indian country. Again, we Indian people also had many internal weakness. Due to that, due to those factors, they got stronger. Then now as they had their hold in all over provinces, but Bengal Bengal is said to be as the very ancient province and also very larger province. So to have a hold over this Bengal, it was a very big achievement of these Britishers. So that proved to be very important for them, and there they just sowed the seeds of divide and rule. Now till 1857, national uprising and various movements were brought into picture, and many people witnessed it. Again, to maintain the supremacy, what they did, they developed a strong administrative structure, as they were aware that where the people are going, coming, what are their businesses, how agriculture is carried out, how many people are educated, all these things. So they just formed their own rules, and according to that the country was governed. And then again that many laws, many things were brought into existence. We all know that railways, telegraph, postal services were brought by Britishers into our own country. So this was a boon. These were good things that brought development. But revenue, taxation, then exploitation of people, injustice to common man, no basic amenities. So likewise, by this they were exploited. Then after that, when they sought that many people are illiterate, many people are weaker sections of the society, so that became favorable for them, and they implemented such laws that proved a disadvantage to the Indian people, but it prospered the Britishers and the England people. Then, regarding the national uprising of 1857, here it is being given that the factors caused were many: political dissatisfaction, economic exploitation, social and religious factors, military factor, and immediate reasons like induction of Enfield rifle in army. Mangal Pandey was the first martyr of uprising. Now these are all being given that various factors contributed for the national uprising in 1857, and also it was decided that the rifle used in guns, that should the cap should be opened by the mouth. Now also it was said that the opening of the rifle, the upper point, was being composed of animal fat, and we Indian people, our mainly religious people, thought that it is not a religious practice, or that does not follow our religion, so many people declined it. So on account of that, our a very ambitious military person, Mangal Pandey, he gave his life for this Enfield rifle. He said that no, we are not going to open this rifle with our mouths. Then there were many revolutionaries like Nana Sahib, Tatya Tope, Raja Kuwar Singh, Rani Lakshmibai, Bahadur Shah Zafar, etc. Then one by one, from all areas of our country, many practices, many changes took place. Then these were from these small incidents, many effects also seen in various parts of the country. But one thing proved very fine, that with this uprising of 1857, the East India Company rule was brought to an end. Further continuing with our topic, with this national uprising, some factors were not in our part, so we lacked failure. So these were as uprising before planned time, lack of central leadership, insufficient and unsophisticated weapons, importance of self-centered interests than nationalism among revolutionaries, lack of suitable and organized leadership. Now these are being studied by you in the previous classes also. So many a times with these factors, we can come to know that planning was not proper, leadership, insufficient weapons, and interests, they were not arranged, or they were not properly managed. So it lacked. Then boycott and indigenous movements. Now, boycott, we all know, when we don't want to use, or we don't want to have that any product, commodity, any movement, so that goes under boycott. And indigenous means only those goods which are produced or manufactured in our own country. So went away with Bhang Bhang movement in the year 1905. This was a very important event in the Indian national movement. But as Britishers just plotted the policy of divide and rule, and Machiavellian policies, this was a very turning point again for the Indian society. Now, what were their strategies? Let us see. So, during this time, in the in the starting point of the 20th century, so this Bengal was a very big province. Now, earlier it included Bengal, Bihar, and Odisha also. So, round about today's three states included in the Bengal. After that, now this was also said to be as the central point of national awakening, as much of the larger part of population was living over there.